Well, good afternoon and welcome to the April 26, 2023 Mesa Planning and Zoning public hearing. We will begin with a roll call. I am Board Member Crockett. Vice Chair Ayers.
Here.
Board Member Allen.
Here.
Board Member Sarkisian is absent. Board Member Peterson.
Here.
Board Member Pitcher.
Here.
And Board Member Montez.
Here.
Great, we have our quorum. As you heard in the introduction, we operate on a consent agenda. So the items that are on the consent agenda will be voted in a block without discussion on any individual item. We do have a speaker slip that's been submitted on agenda item 4A, so that will come off of the consent agenda so that we can have a discussion on that item. Is there anyone else here to speak on any other agenda item besides 4A? I don't see anyone. So Board Member Vice Chair Ayers has volunteered to read our consent agenda, so I will turn it over to him.
Thank you, Chair. So the items on the consent agenda, so PZ 23057 minutes from the April 12th, 2023 study session and regular meeting. Item 3A, PZ 23027, ZON 22-00717, Rio Salado fourplex within the 500 block of West Rio Salado Parkway, located north of Rio Salado Parkway and west of Country Club Drive. This is a site plan review with a request to allow a multiple residence development. The staff recommendation is approval with conditions. 3B, ZON 22-00052, QBD Duncan, within the 300 block of East McKellips Road on the north side and within the 2000 block of North Mesa Drive on the west side, located north of McKellips Road and west of Mesa Drive. This is a site plan review and the staff recommendation is approval with conditions.
Vice Chair, can you read that case number into the record again, please?
Oh, did I? PZ 23056.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 4B, PZ 23051, the Anton Mesa Fiesta, within the 1300 block of South Alma School Road on the east side, within the 1000 to 1200 blocks of West Grove Avenue on the south side, within the 1400 block of South Westwood, and within the 1000 to 1200 blocks of West Holmes Avenue on the north side, located east of Alma School Road and south of Southern Avenue. This is a rezone from limited commercial with a planned area development overlay, council use of permit, and site plan review. This is staff recommendation with approval with conditions. Item 4Z, PZ 23053, the Take 5 at Ellsworth.
Can you also read the zoning?
Oh, sure. Did I miss on the last one? ZON 22-01178, Take 5 at Ellsworth, within the 1200 to 1300 blocks of South Ellsworth Road on the east side, located south of Southern Avenue on the east side of Ellsworth Road. This is a site plan review, and this request will allow for a minor automobile vehicle repair facility. Staff recommendation is approval with conditions. Item 4D, PZ 23054, ZON 22-01344, La Mesita Phase 4 within the 2200 block of West Main Street on the north side, located north of Main Street on the west of Dobson Road. It's a rezone from general commercial and multiple residence 4 to general commercial with a bonus intensity zone, council use permit, and site plan review. This request will allow for multiple residence development, and this has been continued to the May 10th, 2023 Planning and Zoning Board meeting. Item 4E, PZ 23055, ZON 23-00049, the View 202 Phase 2, within the 8700 to 99,000 blocks of East Starfire Avenue on the south side, located north of Ray Road and west of Ellsworth Road. This is a site plan review and request will allow for an industrial development. Staff recommendation is approval with conditions. Item 5A, PZ 23052, ZON 22-01248, is a preliminary plat, Elliott Tech Corridor Phase 2, within the 10400 to 10600 blocks of East Elliott Road on the north side and within the 3400 block of South Signal Butte Road on the west side, located north of Elliott Road and west of Signal Butte Road. This is a preliminary plat for an industrial development, and the staff recommendation is approval with conditions. Item 5B, PZ 23058, ZON 22-00117, Lot 2 of the Crisman Business Park and replat, AMD replat, within the 10,000 block of East Southern Avenue on the south side, located east of Crisman Road on the south side of Southern Avenue. This is a preliminary plat and request will create 2 lots. Staff recommendation is approval with conditions.
Vice Chair, could you bring that case number into the record again, please?
This one,
Did I miss it?
it was 20.
ZON, oh, I did. ZON, I like last year. ZON 22-00117. Did I do it again? Let me take a quick drink of water here. ZON 23-00117, Lot 2, Crisman Business Park, AMD replat. See, this is what happens when you make me do something.
Thank you, Vice Chair Ayers. Thank you, Vice Chair Ayers. Can I have a motion to approve our consent agenda?
Move to approve the consent agenda as read and amended.
Thank you, Board Member Peterson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Board Member Pitcher. Let's go ahead and vote. Board Member Allen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Board Member Montez?
Aye.
Thank you. By your vote of 6 ayes, 1 absent, you have passed the consent agenda. So thank you to those that came down for those items. Now I'll turn it over to staff for presentation on item 4A.
Chair, board members, this is zoning case ZON 22-01168, and it's a request to rezone the subject site from T4NF to the T5MS transect within the form-based code regulating plan. The subject site's located east of Country Club Drive and south of Main Street. It's at the northeast corner of Morris and Mahoney Avenue. The current zoning on the project is downtown core with the downtown events overlay. And as mentioned, the existing form-based code regulating plan for it would be the T4NF transect. The general plan designation for the property is downtown. It's in a transit area corridor station area. And the goal of this character area is to create pedestrian-oriented, transit-rich environments with a lot of activity. The building form for the area is to have the buildings engage the street and then also promote construction quality that meets or exceeds the investment that has been made in the light rail system. This is a photo of the existing building on the site. It's taken from the west side of Mahoney looking east. And then this is a photo of the parking lot looking north from Mahoney Avenue. The subject site is a half acre, and if this request is approved, it would establish the same development standards as the property to the north as far as the T5MS regulating plan for the form-based code. And that would help create a more uniform form for anticipated future redevelopment of the site. As a part of this request, the applicant did submit a citizen participation plan. They sent letters to property owners within 1,000 feet of the site, as well as the homeowners and neighborhood associations. As part of that outreach, they received some comments back, and those comments, I believe, are in your citizen participation report packet. And I can't remember if there's 3 or 4 of those emails that the applicant received, but they were in favor of the project or the request. As far as the notification that went out for the public hearing, staff did not receive any phone calls or emails about the project. So in summary, staff finds the request complies with the 2040 Mesa General Plan, and it also complies with the Central Main Street Area Plan. And I'll be happy to answer questions you might have.
Thank you, Charlotte. Are there any questions for Charlotte on this item? I'm not seeing any. So is the applicant here? Would you like to come to the podium? And before I let you speak, I'll have you state your name and business address for the record, and then you're welcome to make a presentation, or you're also welcome to reserve your time to respond to the comments that we receive from the public.
Sure. So my name is Scott Harwood at 33 South Shadow Breeze Road in Kaysville, Utah. I'm with Oz Development, and the property owner that we represent is OZ16QOZB LLC. We've got many projects up in Utah. This will be our second one down here in the greater Phoenix area. We've got one in downtown Phoenix, and then this one in Mesa, and then looking at one in Tucson right now as well. So I think Charlotte mentioned it pretty clearly that we're just trying to assemble these 3 parcels with the 4 that we have contiguous to it to create consistent zoning in the project where these buildings will overlap the entirety of those 7 parcels. Really focused on the transit component. The pedestrian piece is really key to us. And we think our building really will set a precedence there on Country Club in Maine as a real entrance to Mesa, something that makes a statement. The architecture is pretty unique and fun. We're working through our schematic design right now. We should have that in on our zoning clearance package the end of this week. All of our consultants have been working really hard to get through all of that. But I did receive 4 comments, well, 3 through email, 1 yesterday on a phone call that were very supportive of what we were doing in that corner area. The 3 emails are attached to the packet. The one phone call yesterday was Brian Mitchell, who owns various properties in downtown Mesa as well. Brian was super supportive, asked if there's anything he could do. I certainly said we'll get back to you as we brainstorm and work through the project, but right now we've gotten really good feedback on what we've proposed so far. So if there's any questions, happy to answer them, but that's about it.
Okay, thank you. Are there questions for Scott on this item? Board Member Pitcher.
So do you own the property there then to the north of the rest of those buildings, or what are you assembling?
Correct. If you look, the hard corner on Country Club in Maine, where the taco shop is, that's us as well. So we own that property, and then all the way over, getting those tenants that you've been shown the building, and then back along Mahoney, where there's a couple of vacant parcels as well on that backside. So all of that will be combined into the project.
And what do you envision as the height of the buildings?
Yeah, we've got designed right now on the hard corner, you've got a level of podium parking with 5 stories on top of that, and then the phase that's just off to the side of that is 3 stories of podium parking with 5 on top of that. So between 5 and 8 stories, varying heights.
Okay. Board Member Peterson.
So on the south portion, so the area in question here is part of the project. From some of the concepts, it looked like the buildings were primarily street loaded. Do you, so the east half of the property shown in blue, will that be the full podium parking as well?
Correct.
So how many stories of that?
Yeah, you've got 3 stories. All of the blue has the 3 stories of podium parking with the 5 on top of that.
Okay.
And then you load coming up Morris and into that parking garage right off of Morris to both sides of that project. So,
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
yep.
Any other questions at this time? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I've got a speaker's card from Nicole Walters. So Nicole, if you would come up to the podium and state your name and address for the record, and then you'll have 3 minutes to tell us what you'd like to tell us about this one.
Of course, thanks for having me. My name is Nicole Walters. I reside at 244 West Mahoney Avenue. I am a longtime local Mesa resident and a small business owner. My home and business are located to the east, adjacent to parcel 1385-4036, of which Oz Development is seeking rezoning permissions for. I respectfully request the Planning and Zoning Rezoning Board and Chair to deny this rezoning effort until more community outreach, including a neighborhood meeting with small business owners and local residents like myself in the immediate area, can be conducted. I oppose this effort because I believe this project will make it difficult for my customers to reach my business. There has been no public information provided on any road closures that this construction for this project will require. The construction noise is sure to be deafening and is a concern for me and may make it harder for me to do my work and carry on with providing my services to the local community. I am also having concerns about overflow parking, usage of the local infrastructure. As someone who has worked in Main Street for 10 years now, I know that we get some rolling blackouts every once in a while in the summer. So I have concerns and unanswered questions about that. I am concerned that this is a direct threat to my livelihood and may force me to close my business or move elsewhere. According to Oz Development's Citizen Participation Action Plan, the due diligence and community outreach included only contacting landowners within 1,000 feet of this proposed development. The developer, and I quote, does not plan on holding a neighborhood meeting as this request is non-controversial and does not seem to warrant a neighborhood meeting to discuss the rezone request. I disagree with this statement. In addition to property owners, renters also make up a vibrant part of the local community, and we deserve to have a chance to be given information about the project, our questions answered, and our concerns heard. In my view, only considering the input from property owners and not that of local small business owners and residents who happen to be renting here is controversial because it is only considering input from one group and only valuing the interests and opinions of one over the other, which simply put is discrimination. I fully agree that Mesa is in urgent need of additional housing to increase supply and keep up with demand. However, there are too many unanswered questions on this project and how it will impact residents and small businesses like mine, and for this reason, I oppose this rezoning measure. Side note, in one of those slides that they showed, you can actually see my business and house. I also have concerns about how the 5 to 8 stories and where all these people are going to go. I'm worried that they're not going to have enough parking and it will clog traffic on the street. And on a personal note, it will block the sunlight to my garden, which I'm not particularly happy about. I yield my time. Thank you for having me.
Nicole, thank you for coming down. Is there a possibility that having more people in the neighborhood will benefit your business, or is it, I mean, is it usually more foot traffic locally helps businesses? I'm just wondering if you see that as a possibility here.
I have thought that maybe it would, local foot traffic. However, I'm an appointment-only shop and I don't accept walk-ins. So additional visibility may be nice, but I'm concerned. I have limited parking for my people already. If people are parking on this public street, I may not have any access for my customers. Also, it's just a 2-lane street on Mahoney, so if people are parking there or if it's blocked off, it's going to be very hard for people to find me. I'm going to have to basically tell them, go to Cider Core and then go west until you find me, and I'm down on the right. It's a much easier access currently to tell people go to Country Club and Main Street and then just pop over to me through Morris. So it might bring me some additional customers, but not any more than I currently have, I don't think.
Okay, I'm going to ask staff in a minute to respond, and maybe the applicant. But before I do that, does any of the other board members have questions for Nicole? Or Board Member Pitcher.
Where are you on this?
So I am to the east of the empty lots, the parking lot.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's Morris Plaza, and then there's the parking lots, and my house is directly east of that.
Okay, you're 244?
244, yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure I know where you are.
Of course.
Okay, and then if I could ask staff to address first of all, the question about notice and about notice going to landowners and what we do, if anything, about people who are renters. And then I guess I have a question about the construction time and whether possibly a good neighbor type arrangement would be beneficial. So those are kind of the questions I have.
Okay. Yeah, Chair, board members, so the applicant did notice the property in accordance with code requirements. So there was an ad posted in the paper, the site was physically posted, and then the property owners were given notice. So that is our standard practice, that's a requirement of the code to get the property owners' addresses from the assessor's information. To get renter information, that's very difficult to obtain. It just is, because it's where do you gather that information from? Where's that database? Sometimes you might be able to get it from utilities, but that often changes as well. So they did complete all of their noticing requirements there. And the posting of the site, the newspaper gives the opportunity for those that aren't property owners to be aware of it. This is going to City Council for action as well, so there's still opportunity to make comment on this at City Council.
Okay, thank you. And what's that? Board Member Peterson.
Yeah, Rachel, what about some form of whether it's good neighbor policy or communication with stakeholders in the area regarding the construction, road access, all those types of things? What are the options or the lines of communication to achieve that?
So I do believe as part of their conceptual plan, they are looking at possibly vacating a portion of Morris. So that also would be a City Council action, and that is coordinated through the real estate department. So they do have some sort of outreach requirements of that as well. I just am not sure what exactly those are. So there will be further opportunity to comment on that and for them to meet with those neighbors on that issue.
Okay, and I don't remember from the package, was there a parking study done on this item?
So right now, we don't have an application in for the actual development.
Gotcha.
This is, right now, before us is only to change that overlay zone, the transect. This property is technically still zoned DC, so they haven't even opted into the form-based code yet. So once they do, at that point, they would be submitting their actual site plan for review.
Okay, but that would not, because it's under the form-based code, that would not come back before us, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
So,
Peterson.
sorry, yeah, what's how would a resident get information both before and during construction, or be able to have that, concerns over streets being closed or blocked or that type of thing? What's the line of communication there to recommend to adjacent residents and stakeholders so that they can both be aware and yeah.
Yeah, Chair, Board Member Peterson. So the citizen participation process that they completed is that avenue to do so. So they provided, information to surrounding property owners, and they posted the site. So it does have their contact information. But as I mentioned, any vacation of that right-of-way will require further City Council action. So once again, there will be noticing requirements associated with that they will have notice and opportunity to communicate with the applicant.
Yeah, I guess I was asking during construction or when it's going on, so that if there are, is there a vehicle for communication? Is it just to get the developers' information and contact them directly, or is there a mechanism through the city if a street's being rebuilt or improved and going to be closed for a period of time, or all those types of things?
If there are any complaints, if people have complaints during that process, it does go through the Development Services Department, our Engineering Development Review. They coordinate those sort of comments and communication through the permitting process. So that would be the avenue.
Yeah, I guess it answers some questions. I knew nothing about this project until it was posted on April 11th.
And then if I could just follow up, a question for Rachel. So for Ms. Walters here to know when, will there be another opportunity to have any input at the administrative review level when the site plan comes in? And if so, how would she know when that happens? Can she get on a email list or something?
Chair, board members, so as part of that administrative review, with that process, there is no public notice involved with that. We do have a list of projects posted on our website that people can monitor, and they can always contact staff if they have questions or comments. But really, it would probably be, since she has the contact information for the applicant, having direct conversations with them.
With the applicant? Okay, all right, thank you. And then, did you have something, Board Member Pitcher?
No, I had one other question. You had mentioned, Rachel, about you're going to vacate a portion of Morris. Is that what you said, or did I misunderstand you?
Chair, board member Pitcher, I don't want to say that that's necessarily going to happen. I know there were some conceptual plans where that has been contemplated, but the mention was if that does happen, that would require city council action and further noticing.
All right, I have a couple of questions for the applicant. Scott, if you wouldn't mind coming back up. I know that we're early in the process, but two questions for you. Number one, in terms of during the construction period, how will you manage that and make sure the local businesses and local residents aren't adversely affected during construction of the buildings? And then the second question has to do with the parking concern and what you envision in terms of having adequate parking. Will there be street parking that will be used by the residents of the buildings?
Sure. To answer your first question, during construction, certainly we're going to have construction fencing, right? And that will typically always have the responsible parties' contact name, phone number, all the information to contact us. But we're certainly cognizant of the neighbors that we're going to have around us. So anyone who's contacted us on the front end of the very positive emails I got, I told them I would keep them in the loop as far as timing and everything related to our project through just email correspondence and updates as we move along. I am happy to include, I think it was Nicole, right, her information in that packet of just making sure that these individuals that are around us are looped in as far as what we're planning on doing. So I'll gather that information from her. I hadn't heard anything from her until tonight, so I'll get that information. I took notes as far as where she is, and she is right close to us, and we will certainly make sure everybody knows how to get a hold of us. That's very important to us. The parking component, we found in the projects we've done to date, being proximate to transit, especially on some of our studio and smaller, a lot of people don't even use vehicles, but we've got parking here that's 3 levels of podium on the one side and a full level on the other. Certainly meeting code on everything we've done to date. Again, we've got a long road as far as plans and schematic review and design. Tonight's just to look at the rezone component, but we'll be working with staff and looking at that. We don't plan on using any off-street parking, so ours is contained and meets code within our own buildings.
Okay, thank you for that
You're
explanation. Welcome. Are there any other questions on this item? I'm not seeing any. Okay.
Thank you.
So I will close the public hearing on this item, and I guess we can have some discussion or a motion on this item. I will say that this is, in my opinion, the very type of development that we'd like to attract in downtown Mesa, a denser urban type of development. But I'm also sympathetic to the concerns, obviously, of people that have been invested in the community. They live downtown, they have a business downtown. So I hope that we can move forward where that we can accommodate those concerns and make sure that those businesses continue to thrive, and that the use of the property isn't adversely affected by this new project. So that's my thoughts. I don't know if anyone has anything else they want to share or not.
Well, if I could jump in, I agree wholeheartedly with all the comments that you made. But if you're ready for a recommendation, I'm happy to do it.
Thank you. That would be great, Board Member Allen.
I would recommend that we approve ZON 22-01176. Oh, you know what? I'm reading the wrong one. Here, I got this from AIRS, I think. Sorry, Ben, following you. I recommend that we approve ZON 22-01168 Edge on Main Apartments within the 100 block of South Morris and within the 200 block of West Mahoney Avenue, located east of Country Club Drive and south of Main Street, rezoned from T4NF to T5MS within the form-based code regulating plan. This with staff recommendation of approval with conditions.
All right, I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, thank you, Board Member Pitcher. Let's go ahead and vote. Board Member Allen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Board Member Montez?
Aye.
By your vote of 6 ayes and 1 absent, you have passed item 4A. I would ask the applicant to make sure that he exchanges information with Ms. Walters so that there can be some continued access there as this project moves forward. Okay. Rachel, is there anything more on our agenda today?
Chair, no, nothing further.
All right, then with that, I will ask for a motion to adjourn our meeting.
I would provide you that motion to adjourn the meeting. Oh my gosh, I'm having
Thank
a
you.
hard time today.
Board Member Ayers, is there a second?
Goodness.
I'll second.
Second.
Board Member, thank you. All in favor? Board Member Allen?
Aye.
Board
Aye.
Member Montez?
Aye.
All right, you voted to adjourn our meeting. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Are you okay, Ben?
I have no idea.